Alright, yeah, welcome back to some more Magic Arena. Today we're going to be playing the Friday Night Magic at Home Singleton event, and I think the last time we played Singleton we did, I believe, Jeskai Control. I like going into all of the Ikoria wedges. I think it's wedges and not shards. I don't know. Same difference. So we did Jeskai last time, so this time we're going to be doing some Mardu. I guess Sultai's coming after that, so I don't think we've done that one before either. But yes, let's do Mardu Singleton. This is essentially a mid-range deck. The reason why I wanted to play this color combination was mostly for cards like Offspring's Revenge. A 5-mana enchantment says at the beginning of combat on your turn, you exile a red, white, or black creature card from your graveyard and create a token that's a copy of that card, except for it's a 1/1 and gains haste until the end of the turn. Not a great deal of interaction necessarily with this card in the deck. Most of the cards that would normally interact with it, like Cavaliers, I think we're in, like, I want to say M19, something like that. But yeah, we can actually get back a little bit of our sub-theme, which is going to be Mutate. So we've got Snapdax, Apex of the Hunt, aka King Caesar, or Caesar, Awoken Titan, 4-mana, 3/5 with double strike, but you can mutate it as well. For the cost, putting it onto a non-human, and then whenever this mutates, it deals 4 damage to a creature or planeswalker an opponent controls, and you gain 4 life. So a pretty decent helix effect if you do go for a little bit of mutating. We do have a couple of other mutate cards in here, like Necropanther, which is a 3 CMC reanimation spell. We've got Cub Warden in here as well that can also make some cats. So some pretty fun stuff in the deck, and you know, I'm going to be utilizing a little bit of Zendikar Rising to cut down on our mana base a little bit. 19 lands, but I think we've got a virtual 25-ish for the deck. Also got fun things like Outlaw's Merriment. Lots of really fun cards in this deck, and it's just basically trying to put out powerful creatures one after the other, or powerful permanents anyway. So we got our Baneslayer Angel, 5-mana, 5/5. Protection from demons, dragons, flying, first strike, lifelink. Absolute keyword soup. Mangara draws us cards when our opponent plays too many things. We got the Archon. Stops our opponent from playing too many things, because I think on average our one spell will be slightly more powerful than our opponent's, so not being able to play more than one spell per turn could be really useful for us. But yeah, that's really all I'm going to go with as far as the deck's concerned. There's lots of removal, lots of, you know, just powerful creatures with attack and ETB effects and things like that, so hoping for a lot of fun on this one. So if you did enjoy the content, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe, and without further ado, let's test out the deck. This video is brought to you by the generous support of our wonderful patrons and channel members that you see here. If you'd like to support the channel and get access to cool content like sneak peeks, bonus videos, polls on future content, or access to a personal deck critique from myself every month, then hit the join button down below, or check out the Patreon link in the description. With all that said, let's get into the gameplay. Alrighty then, we have a 3-lander, we have our build around Offspring's Revenge, and some early game removal. I think we keep this one. I think it's fine. So I think we're just going to drop down the Awakening tapped on our turn. Shouldn't imagine we need to Bloodchief's Thirst all that soon. Opponent's mulled to 6 as well, so we have that kind of advantage going for us. It's blue. Okay. Well, let's put down our tap land, sorcery speed removal. Obviously not necessary to be held up in here. It's actually, is it? Okay. Or is it? Tap land, go. Is it tempo, perhaps? Yep. Might be a draw 2 style deck then, maybe. Certainly have the Bloodchief's Thirst for that. Whether we get to actually resolve it or not is to be determined, but I would imagine we've got a decent odd of that happening. Yep. Down goes the island. We do want to take care of the Fairy Vandal. The sequencing here is quite strange. I think that goes without saying. Missed a point of damage, but, you know, stuff like that, it happens. Hagra Mauling being a 4-mana removal spell, we do kind of need it. But it also might just be more suitable as a land drop, so we can go with Basri's Lieutenant next turn and have decent mana on our way to an Offspring's Revenge, perhaps. I think that's probably better. It's a tough call, though, to be honest. This Faith's Fetters. Okay, so we can go with the Bonder's Enclave. And Basri's Lieutenant could open us up to a counterspell here, but we'd much rather this be countered so that we can go with an Offspring's Revenge than, you know, our opponent letting this resolve and countering this down the line. So they do have the Rewind. Allows them to do something on my end step if they want, but they don't have anything flashy, which is good. And to be honest, I don't think I fire off the Revenge just yet. I think I need to make sure that it's more likely to resolve. So something like Lithoform Engine seems a little bit more not that useful right now. So it's pretty good counter bait. Be nice to have it though, but our opponent's never in a million years going to let us have anything useful. Land go, you say. So it is like actually just Izzet control. It's not a tempo list at all. See what the temple will show us. Yeah, I do want something really huge like Terror of the Peaks. Again, I'm not sure if I throw out the Offspring's Revenge, all it does really is get me a 2-2 with protection. Doesn't seem too worth it when next turn I can actually just play a Terror of the Peaks and then maybe reanimate that with an Offspring's Revenge if it gets countered or killed. We would like... Got double black, got double white, got double red. So it really doesn't matter, I don't think. Let's just go with more red, I suppose. Can play for certain conditional counter spells, though I imagine most of them will be a counter unless you pay 3 minimum. I think there's Anti-Cognition's the new counter spell, which cares about like cards in their opponent's graveyards. That's a counter unless you pay 2, I think. At this stage in the game, at least. Alright, so we did manage to resolve the Terror of the Peaks, but I got to imagine that they've just got Brazen Borrowers and Bounces. This doesn't feel like a card. Ooh, okay, so they could have countered it and chose not to. Fair enough. So that mostly means removal. I'd say all but guarantees it, to be honest. I dare say it's probably bounce, because mostly this actually takes 3 life whenever you target, so getting 2 for 1 is 6 damage, which is more than Terra's ever going to pull off anyway, so that'd be nice. We just don't want to see like Scorching Dragonfire exiling it. Shatter Skull Smashing. How about Offspring's Revenge? And there's our Terror coming back. It is only a 1-1, but the damage it deals is more relevant in the actual passive ETB effect that it has. And it's going to demand another answer from our opponent, essentially. Otherwise, everything entering is just going to start pinging the living crap out of our opponent. That's the hope, at least. Does this actually ping me if I target it? Please let me right-click it, thank you. Nope, I can target this as much as I like. Okay, so I can turn it into a little bit of a bigger threat with the Demonic Embrace. And I think our opponent realizes that things resolving is a bad thing. Countering things that then come back is a bad thing. Our opponent ain't about that life. Okay, so pretty reasonable matchup, I would say. I thought our opponent had a chance of winning it, though, if I'm being completely honest, but they disagreed. Ooh, Gyarabes the Sea God. Very nice. Very nice indeed. Alright, let's go for the next game. Alrighty then, let's have a look-see. We've got a pretty expensive hand, but we do have removal on 3, a scry on 2, which we will kind of ruin with a Fabled Passage most likely. The mana seems good as long as we can live, so we really just don't want to see our opponent playing mono red. I think if we can dodge that bullet, then we've got a pretty decent matchup ahead of us. So, I actually kind of think that we go with the Temple first. Mana fixing's not necessarily all that important right now, as is just getting better lands, I suppose. If Fabled Passage can come down on 4, that'd be nice. Gilded Goose for our opponent. Okay. We've got the Skyclave Apparition, which is pretty solid. And yeah, I think we're just going to go with the Survive Triome here. Just hope to draw a land next turn. Got tap lands regardless, so... Green, white, X, most likely. Got to imagine they're a 3-color pile. And they're hovering their food tokens, so it says a lot about probably missing colors here. If I can get that untapped land and then take out whatever Gilded Goose is trying to cast, that'd be pretty nice. It's actually counters, okay. Well, Wildwood Scourge is definitely a problem card, to say the least. We will want to get rid of that in some capacity. Probably in Skyclave Apparition capacity, I would say. Need to go crack the Fabled Passage for a mountain here, so we've got the double red. We've already got the double white from the rest of our lands, so... should be able to cast just about anything in our deck at this point, as long as we just make some nice land drops. This hand otherwise is quite nice. Oran Reef Ooze. So it puts a counter on itself, most likely. On the Gilded Goose. Okay. She does put a counter on the Scourge. And we did say mountain, didn't we? Yes, we did. I think I'm going to take care of the Scourge here. Oran Reef Ooze attacking pumps everything else with a counter on it, which is kind of annoying, but we've just drawn the Soul Shatter, so that doesn't matter too much. This actually only gives them back a 1/1. If the Apparition dies, which is totally fine by me. So, do they want to put a counter on the Goose and potentially offer up their Apparition, or do they just want to make food? If they just make food, that's a really nice slowdown tactic for us. You can Soul Shatter them and ruin their day. Seems like a pretty reasonable Soul Shatter to me, to be honest. If we thought we could get better value out of it, then obviously we would go with something like Banishing Light, but I don't think it matters either way, in all honesty. Basri's Solidarity. Okay, pumps the squad. We're going to take this damage down to 11. It's a 3/5 in the air. We do get our land drop, which is nice. So we'll make that land drop, and then I think we're just going to go for the Soul Shatter on their turn. It's not as if they can counter it. And yeah. Let's let them believe that Oran Reef Ooze is going to live. It is a sacrifice ability, so indestructibility on their turn, or even protection in this case, is not going to do much. And goes to combat. Okay. So goodbye, Ooze. See if they can... Oh, please. Please, you do love to see a punt where they don't understand the rules. Give it protection. Do it. Do it. It'd be so nice. Oh, dang it. You could tell they were thinking about it. They were like, is that how this works? Going to 8. And a Hushbringer. Okay, that does stop our ETBs. Technically, it also stops our death triggers, but this isn't a death trigger, it's a leaves the battlefield ability. This is our opportunity to get rid of the 3/5 Gilded Goose before Alseed can do its thing. I also have the Mythos of Snapdax, which I think I do have the payment on. We have white, white... Oh no, it's red, red at that point. Bugger. Yeah, I don't have the Mardu colors for that. If I have the Mardu colors, then I choose all the permanents, so I could actually, you know, get 2 for 1 on that. Instead, I think I've probably just got to go for the Eat to Extinction here on the Gilded Goose. If it's not a land, I don't think I'm interested in it, because I can go for the board wipe next turn, which should be pretty powerful. I guess the dying trigger on this actually does stop the apparition, right? I don't know. I'm pretty sure leaves the battlefield is not death triggers. Wow, they got Mothra. That's real annoying. It's a Nombo with the Hushbringer, though, which is kind of funny. I think I've just got a Banishing Light the Mothra. Yeah, let's just Banishing Light the Mothra. Oh, they have protection. I'm an idiot. There's a green mana up there. Just noticed that there's green mana up there, chat. So now I'm going to have to target Alseed, actually. At least Hushbringer kind of nombos the Alseed. It won't come back with the flying counter off of Mothra, as much as our opponent might think it does. Yeah, I'm being a bit silly, though. I'll just force them to use it. Yeah, so protection from white. We take 4. It was really stupid of me. I just need a land, though. An untapped land can save the day here. It can't be any of our mythic lands that force us to pay 3 life for obvious reasons. That will do it. I guess we should get in for 2 first, before we go for it. If they've got any kind of indestructibility, then obviously we are going to lose here. Otherwise, we reset the board and we can start putting some big boys onto the table. Alright, destroy all creatures, please. I guess we get to find out if the Apparition and the Hushbringer have a little combo together. I don't believe that... Oh, they do! Okay. Because I would have thought that in order for this to stop the Apparition would have said, if Skyclave Apparition dies, blah blah blah. It turns out that's not the case. Alright, well, we've done some scary punting here, but we may very well come back in the clutch. I'm going to go with the Outlaw's Merriment, on the off chance we get some lifelink here, because we're desperately going to need that kind of thing. We've got the Banishing Light. Later down the line we can do a Ruinous Ultimatum, I suppose, for that. And yeah, we're just going to have to go with Terror of the Peaks here. Means we have a deal 2 and a deal 4. So we can kill the Selfless Savior, for example. That is an untapped land. That's nice. I think we just go with the Mothra here. Probably going to use the Bone Crusher's deal 2 on the Selfless Savior, so we'll just hit our opponent in the face. We really shouldn't have to care about a 1/1 here. So let's also get in for 5 as well. We're doing what we had hoped to do. In a little, you know, less punty kind of way. You know, ideally we wouldn't have made the sheer amount of mistakes that we have already, but this is kind of what we wanted to do. We wanted to get to about turn 5 or 6 and then just start dropping down bomb after bomb after bomb that our opponent couldn't keep up with. And it seems that we're doing that pretty decently here. Our opponent's going to scoop any minute, because we're going to kill them mostly. Got a 7/7 here, followed by a lethal swing, so... Yeah, okay, loads of mistakes there, I do apologize. But we've managed to redeem ourselves, I guess, somewhat, and get ourselves a victory. So that is our second finish. Event is officially over. see if I got gems or if I actually got something interesting. We got a mythic last time, so if we could do that again, nope. Never mind. And then some vault progress. Nice. Alright, I think we've got time for another game, so let's do it. Okay then, we're in. We have no red mana for our Bone Crusher Giant, but we do have a Temple of Silence, and honestly, with a hand like this, we're looking for lands anyway, so I think I'm going to give this one a shot. If we can get down a small creature to mutate with Cub Warden, that'd be nice. I mean, Bone Crusher Giant on 3, maybe. Glasspool Mimic for our opponent. Alright, looking for just red mana. It is a land, but it's not what we want, so we're going to put that in the trash where it belongs. And it's going to be blue, white, mill, I guess? Well, didn't want any of those cards anyway. They were completely useless. So that's nice. 2 to the bottom. Oh, perhaps it's a party deck then. Party. Alright, well, not much of a party on our end. We have literally no playables right now. Red Source would obviously fix that. Thanks. This is 5 to mutate. So do we just... I think we just stomp the Archpriest. Yeah, we don't have the double white for mutating Cub Warden and Bone Crusher Giant together. So I think we just stomp Archpriest. In fact, we'll just do it now in case they have protection. Plan on probably just playing that next turn. I guess it is pie. Interesting little setup. It's only when this ETBs, so we could go for... Well, we could go for Cub Warden, which is a 3/5 lifelink and roadblocks quite nicely. Off of a land, we can mutate and actually get the 2 cat creatures as well as a turbo-powered lightning helix. Puts us in a miserable spot if our opponent has removal, but... I think you gotta... Oh my god. You gotta take that chance. Because you never know. Your opponent might just win anyway. Lithoform Engines, a very bad card, and we're looking down 4 points of damage no matter how we swing this one, so fantastic. Next game. Alrighty then, the solution to all of our problems is right here. We have all colours of mana, which is a first for this deck actually. Really surprised how consistently we can keep getting colour screwed and mana screwed. We really probably shouldn't. The issue with this hand is that everything is a 4 and a 5 drop, but honestly, just the possibility of being able to play cards is enticing enough for me, so we're going to keep this one and we're going to see what happens with it. Opponent's mulliganing as well. Let's see how far they chose to go down. Down to 5. It's a Demir list. Okay, so we're just going to go Swamp and pass. Needle Verge Pathway almost certainly going to have to be on white here. In fact, probably is white no matter what because of the Baneslayer Angel's double white requirement. And it looks like we're going to have playables, but we're not going to be able to resolve anything. That's, I think, what's going to happen here. So I do probably want to just kill this. It's rogues after all, so just kill everything is on my to-do list. So this can only sacrifice if we've got 8 or more cards. So I'm not sure what they're holding up here. Malakir Rebirth, wow. Okay. Windrobber lives another day. But they are down on quite a lot of cards, so not too much of trouble there. There's a land. That's a Drana, okay. Well, we're looking to be in a really nice spot if our opponent doesn't consistently get counter magic here, because we do have like a Basri's Lieutenant or a Solemn next turn, and then Baneslayer Angel should lock up this game into a Drana as well. Of course. You get to choose one card. I think you're just taking Basri's Lieutenant. I mean, yeah. I could give them Bonder's Enclave, and then just play Mountain into Solemn. That fixes our mana as well. Keeps us on the pressure train. I guess that's okay. Yeah, just take an Enclave. Mana is sorted at this point. I really hope I'm not, like, jinxing myself by saying that, but I don't think I am. Alright, so we got the double white, we got double red, we got double black. Really doesn't matter at this stage what color we get, so let's just get the white, because we've got two of them. There you go. Let's do that. And do we play Drana or Baneslayer first? I think it's probably got to be Baneslayer. It roadblocks really nicely, stopping our opponent from getting these swings in. And then Drana down the line can just reanimate Baneslayer if she ends up dying, which is kind of nice. Okay, well, I'm just going to get in for 2. Doubt our opponent wants to kill it, so let's just do that. Really like the lack of double blue here as well. Although they could have Essence Scatters and conditional counter spells, the odds of them actually having specifically a counter spell are probably a lot lower. Good stuff. Now, do they have removal? Heartless Act. Alright. Keeping up the pressure. Not getting in with the Acquisitions Expert is extremely strange. That would imply they plan on blocking with it. Octopus. Alright, we are at 9, so I think it's probably got to be Stomp, Octopus, Apparition, Skydancer at this point. Which order do we want to do it in? We do definitely want the Octopus to die most of all, so let's go with the Apparition. It's going to give him a 3-drop no matter which one we target, so we might as well try and doubly go after the Octopus. And they sack in response, which means they don't get that 3-drop. They do get to draw a card, though. We'll take this opportunity while they're low on cards, just to take care of the rest of their threats. Then we can swing. Okay. They just pass the turn. So we're missing a 3rd land drop for this. If we got the 3rd land drop next turn, we could go for 3s. That's 3. And that's it, actually. I think I'd much rather just make a land drop off of that then, if that's the case. Let's get a bit of a swing in. Not a full one, because we do have to be aware of flash creatures. And I think we're just going to go with the Drana here. Drana makes 6/6 Baneslayers, or also protection from a type that we want, or card advantage. Either way, Drana is looking to very much make a very nice board state. Did get countered though, but it's premium counter and removal, so happy to see that. And let's see how we get on now. Basri's Lieutenant is probably the next one. In fact, we can maybe do 2 spells in a turn with the Bone Crusher Giant if we do draw a land there, which is nice. I think we're doing the Lieutenant, and I think we're putting a counter on itself, I want to say. There's a 4/5 with Vigilance. It blocks quite nicely. Could Demonic Embrace it and all sorts, so yeah, I think that's what we want to do. Swing with both. Could have Zareth here, which is obviously not something that we want to be running our creatures into, but one of them draws a card and one of them doesn't give our opponent anything back when it leaves. Ooh, Shark Typhoon. It's annoying. Have a 0/0. So I kind of think we just embrace the Lieutenant. So we have a 7/6 Vigilance to block the Shark. We're at 9. We can't really afford to take too much damage anymore. So protect our life total as we can. It's also a really good attacker. And removal protection as well. It'll leave us with a 2/2, so it's better than nothing. Voracious Great Shark just gets flashed in. You're a human, yeah. I think we just mutate Solemn. Make it a 3/5, makes 2 1/1s. She'll draw us a card when it dies as well. Opponent might forget that. It's just getting with our 7/6. We've got a really decent board state now. I think our opponent's in a lot of trouble. Yeah. And we just have to hope for decent top decks, which is, when I built this deck, pretty much the main goal of the deck. Mangara would have been a reasonable top deck, as would have Lithoform Engine. Only reasonable, though? Is that good enough? Who really knows? Banishing Light is pretty solid. So where do you take the Banishing Light? We have a pretty good swing if we get rid of the Voracious Great Shark. But the Ghostly Pilferer is actually card advantage that we might not want to let our opponent have. I guess it's not great card advantage, mind you. Yeah, I think we're going after the Voracious Great Shark here, just so we can start really swinging through. So we can get in with the Bone Crusher Giant, the Lieutenant, and the Cub Warden. And just leave back some 1/1s for chump blocking if it absolutely is required. And I think we've got some good blocks here. No matter how our opponent decides to swing this one. So clean up their board. They're dead in the air. We can also just go and fly over with Demonic Embrace if they do manage to kill the Basri's Lieutenant. Board wipe won't do it, because again it'll leave us with a 2/2 and we can Demonic Embrace, fly over and win that way. So I think we've got our opponent essentially locked out of this game. I can't think of what they could have here that could actually set us back far enough for them to survive. I can block the Pilferer, so if it's a Zareth, that's not going to do much. Which would be a pretty of a problem with the Baneslayer Angel. I don't know if it would have been enough with the Baneslayer Angel, though, since we have the Basri's Lieutenant 7/6 to swing right through it. But it would have bought our opponent a turn, if they had the ability to push through, which they don't. But you know. Hypotheticals and all that are interesting to explore on occasion. So yeah, it looks like Dimir Rogues is a popular deck for our opponent to try. Quite a lot. Are they upset that they're losing? It appears to be. It's always on the last turn that the game decides to disconnect them. It's very strange, that. They milled some decent stuff. We could have had a really nice Drana, and they managed to answer it. I personally think they should have, you know, lost with a bit of honor. They did very well to keep me from absolutely ruffle stomping them. You know, a lot of my cool cards didn't end up resolving there. But the rope it is, apparently. Then we've got time for one more game, so let's go. Alrighty then, we're on the play with a pretty nice hand actually. It doesn't have the double black for the Nighthawk Scavenger, but a Blood Chief's Thirst in the early game, potentially to slap down an Outlaw's Merriment for the mid-range. Yeah, this is going to be pretty decent. So yeah, we do need another black source. That's really the only thing that this hand is lacking, in my opinion. Nighthawk Scavenger is probably just going to be a decent blocker. Alright, well we did get a land, which is better than nothing. Looks like we're playing the exact same deck again. Rogues everywhere. Let's just play Castle Ardenvale, doesn't really matter. I don't believe it matters anyway. Need a swamp regardless for future plays. Ooh, Folio of Fancies. And that is a playable, at the very least, but we're probably going to go with the Outlaw's Merriment first. Hope our opponent doesn't have a Brazen Borrow or a counterspell for it. Got to imagine they get a little bit aggressive here, right? Could make me draw one. Or they could just pay the 3 to mill me for 5. That's up to them. Folio of Fancies is not a card you see very often. If they have the Zareth, they want to actually put a rogue down in play so that they can ninjutsu it back. And then start eating the cards that Folio of Fancies puts into the bin. That would be kind of their nut run, as it were. This delay is 100% them having counterspells or a proactive play and them deciding which one's worth it. So we're not going to throw the Merriment out next turn. We're probably just going to throw down a Basri's Lieutenant and try to be happy with that. Maybe they're just not here. Who knows? Oh, no, there they go. Alright, so they have counter magic. That's all you need to know. Let's go Basri's Lieutenant. Put a counter on the Lieutenant. If they don't kill it here, I got a 2-2. Okay. Milled some of my favorite cards that I wanted to play in this game. Rip. Well, we have a threat on board, so could be happy about that, I suppose. Epic Downfall. There's an epic fail for the Basri's Lieutenant. Exiling was not on the to-do list. Good lord. It would have been really nice with an Offspring's Revenge. Well, we're just going to have to go with the Outlaw's Merriment then and see if our tokens can carry the day here. We don't have the double black for the rest of our hands, so just kind of have to hope that our opponent doesn't have bounce spells for the Merriment. And then we can just start creating lots and lots of tokens to hopefully carry the game here. Lithoform Engine can make additional Merriment tokens. That might be interesting. Okay, we're going to have a 3-1. Worst possible outcome, I would say. And let's just do Tectonic Giant. Pass the turn. I don't think Lithoform Engine was necessarily what you want to go with there. I guess next turn we could potentially draw a land for the Giant and also have the 2 mana available. Opponent's letting us draw. That's nice of them. So are they mill or are they rogues? It's hard to tell. I guess it's... I mean, it's technically both, right? But I don't know if they're milling me just to enable their rogues, or if their rogues are just here for the mill. I'm surprised how this deck is, like, the only one I'm seeing. It's not as if mill gets better when you have less options. Okay, so we actually have a 1-2 that we can go for a ping here. That does mean that I can actually swing with my 3Xs, and our opponent has a block with Secret Keeper, but it's not a good block. So, I mean, let's get swinging. I think it's better than just pointing 1 point of damage at our opponent and losing out on 3 for an attack. Okay, we'll go with 3 damage to our opponent. We've got plenty of things to do this turn. I just want to get the pressure going. So we do need extra black, but none of our cards will allow us to do that. Annoyingly. I've got to imagine that the folio of fancies means they're leaning more on the mill side. Because it's really not a good idea to give your opponent card advantage unless it really doesn't benefit them. Which I'd say they've actually helped me. By giving me land drops for the next couple of turns. We're gonna, I think, go Valakut's Awakening tapped. Gives us Kazul's Fury as a fling and the Shelter as a form of protection. I think I'd rather leave those open, to be honest, because we're in the driver's seat here. We're looking to kill our opponent probably next turn if they're not careful. Each player draws 3 cards. Don't mind if I do. Well, those aren't as good. I liked my previous 3 opponent. If we could keep that going, that'd be nice. There's an Overwhelmed Apprentice. A blocker, you say? Shatterskull Summoning. Or whatever it's called. Is that what it's called? Smashing. Got to be careful with the Fury, of course, because they can have didn't say pleases, counter magic and whatnot. And this is as an additional cost, so... This does actually say target of a spell, but I don't think this actually targets it. It does not. Is it also an opponent? Yeah, it's also an opponent. Alright, well, what we can do is we can put some counters on this and decline making it a creature. Got a 1-2, which means we can ping the Secret Keeper again. Draw a Swamp. Which I think just means we swing again. Don't have an ECD target. 2, 3, 4. We could get in with the Crawling Barrens and then have Protection open. As a 4-powered creature. 31 cards. I think we just swing. I think we just... Business as usual, I think, is the plan here. So I'm pretty sure if we get too aggressive with our Crawling Barrens, then we end up in a very awful spot. So 3 damage to you. Then we're going to give it protection from black. Like so. Force our opponent to hit it again, which is another 3, which basically has done the Tectonic Giant's job for the rest of the game at that point. Didn't say please. Well, this is where we fling it then. I suppose. 3 to your face. Sack in response. Mills a Baneslayer and a Terror. That's awful. You're at 4, looking to die next turn. Just all attack. Not sure if all attack is even necessary at this point, but... Yeah, put our opponent to 2. And if we get any more 1-2s, we'll just ping our opponent's face. At this point. Got Clapbridge Troll, which can draw his cards. Got the Crawling Barrens as a 4-4. It doesn't have any kind of evasion, though, so... It probably just eats removal. Opponent's in a lot of trouble. They need to actually beat us in the next few turns. They can't let Aaron Jesus take the wheel here. I think that all but guarantees it's actually a mill deck. Pure and simple. It is a pinger. Ping you. Current board state is presenting lethal. So we'll play all of our stuff post-combat, I suppose, or... I guess we just want a Crawling Barons just so we have an extra threat in play. I'm trying to think if there's any removal that gives you lifelink. I don't know if there is. So counter, bounce, draw a card. Okay, fair enough. Does that not just leave you still dead? 1, 2, 3, 4. If I've got the Crawling Barons in, Crawling Barons, yeah, I still win. Cool. Alright. Fair enough. Just had to double check, because it seemed weird enough that I was like... I don't know if that was, like, actually going to stop them. I was trying to figure out how they live from that play. I just don't know if there was a way that they could do that. I guess it was just a last-minute thing anyway, which it does make sense. But anyway, guys, that is going to do it for today's video. My overall verdict of this deck is probably mediocre to bad, in all honesty. If you check out like the previous Jeskai Singleton list I posted, it's probably a little bit more better, although it will require some updating because it was before Zendikar Rising came out. But you could probably just stick in some cards that I used in the recent Jeskai control list, and you do pretty well with that one. Honestly, I'm sure you could probably find mono red if you really don't care about the event at that point, though. So it's up to you. Anyway, if you did enjoy the content, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. It helps out the channel a great deal, and I do really appreciate it. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you again. Goodbye.